the folks watching on the camera, those people working up in the sound booth, yep, we see you. It's so good to see everyone.
Now let's go faster.
All righty, find your seat, sit down, be comfy. We're going to sing another song together, The Presence of the Lord.
The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. I can feel it in the atmosphere. The presence of the Lord is here. I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing. I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing. The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. I can feel it in the atmosphere. The presence of the Lord is here. Well, I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing. Well, I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing. The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. I can feel it in the atmosphere. The presence of the Lord is here. Right here, right now.
Well, anyway, I can greet you. Welcome to Unity Fort Worth. I'm so glad you're all here with me today. We got a great service planned for you, so sit back, relax, enjoy the next hour. Okay, here we go. Our thank you today goes to our wonderful youth and family services, family ministries, volunteers who selflessly serve the children in our community. We appreciate your smile and your bright and gentle spirits. As a reminder, our final reminder, this Sunday begins our YFM summer break. Families are encouraged to attend our service together and use the children's area in the back of the sanctuary. And remember to register to receive our weekly virtual adventures newsletter for spiritual learning and practice at home over the summer. It's time for our annual June food drive, and we're doing it a little different this year. Did you know that monetary donations can have a greater impact than donating food? Through their partnerships with bulk purchasing power, food banks can often stretch donations to nourish more families than could be fed by foods we can purchase in the grocery store for grocery store prices. For each dollar donated, Tarrant Area Food Bank can provide 5 meals for families in need. So this is why this year we are doing a virtual food drive to raise money for Tarrant Area Food Bank. We've set our initial goal at $500. We can do that, right? I think so. Which could provide 2,500 meals to families in our community. Help us accomplish and even surpass this goal by making a donation at any time in the month of June using the link or QR code. We appreciate your generosity as we join Tarrant Area Food Bank in feeding our neighbors in need. Now, Georgia Phillips from our events committee has a special announcement for us. Georgia?
Well, since food is always on our mind, you see, we talk about food and getting together. So I just wanted to invite you to come and meet me at the Luby's Cafeteria next Sunday at 11 or somewhere between 11 and 11:30 so that we can continue our community in keeping together in the connectivity that we've always had. You know, in the past we've had services in the morning. Then on the second Sunday of the month, we would have a potluck after. And we had that time to talk and to share and to catch up on what all was going on. Well, we're in transition now. And so we, in this transition, can make a little bit of evolution. And we won't have to cook. It'll already be done for us. I did a dry run last Sunday just to see what it was like. And I had a friend, Mark McNutt. Some of you see me sitting with him on Sundays. He joined me so we could get an idea of where's the best place to sit in there. Can we get a large group in it? And we found it all, except pancakes. We found no pancakes, so don't think breakfast so much, think brunch. And you can come in with, you've been to Luby's, surely. Everybody's been there, and you can just go through the line and choose to go light, choose to go small, choose to go big. So be it fruit, be it a pie and coffee, whatever, suits your fancy. That's what you want to go for. As we evolve, that's what we're in right now, in evolution. And I see it do big, good things. Come, take the Wichita exit off of 820 I-20, get on the south side, go back east. You can't miss it. Well, you might can. Everybody else's sign is taller. So keep an eye out, a couple of blocks or so as you're going east. And you can't miss it then. I look forward to seeing you all. Who knows what this might evolve into. Thanks.
Thank you, Georgia. We're looking forward to it. That's all for the announcements today. Now let's enjoy some more music from our talented music team.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone, thank God. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day.
Today's absolute word is optimism. The affirmation is, I grow in optimism. Let's say this together. I grow in optimism. My experience of the world depends on the attitude I bring to it. When I hold positive thoughts and generously share the love in my heart, the world becomes a more inviting, friendly place. Optimism makes it easier to see positive people, exciting opportunities, and serendipity of all kinds. I use optimism to lift my consciousness out of the mire of worry, anxiety, and fear. It keeps me focused on the beauty of the earth, the goodness of people, and my own innate divinity. My optimistic spirit helps me to perceive kind acts, selfless impulses, and loving service happening all around me. In turn, my optimism grows. I feel renewed and inspired as I focus on what is right and good in my life. In gratitude for the world's wonders, I grow in optimism. Today's scripture verse is from Romans chapter 12, verse 21. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. The affirmation again, I grow in optimism. Together, I grow in optimism.
And now, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker for today, our own licensed Unity teacher, Pamela Sybert. Pamela has been involved in Unity for 24 years and received her licensed Unity teacher credentials in 2016. She has been serving at Unity Fort Worth since March of 2021. Pamela holds a master's degree in speech communication with a specialization in radio, TV, film, and a master's degree in gerontology with a specialization in community-based programs. I'm tired. At the University of North Texas, where Pamela worked for 25 years, she directed a lifelong community engagement center and with programs serving preschoolers through senior adults. She also taught in the nonprofit management program. Her primary interest includes spirituality, metaphysics, life satisfaction, and creating meaning and legacy. She also worked as a radio broadcaster for a number of years, lived in Southeast Asia for 2 years, and has traveled to 16 foreign countries. Please join me today in welcoming Pamela Sybert.
Good morning. It's great to be here. Wow, that's my first introduction. All the talks I gave before, I never got one. No, it is wonderful to be here. And whoever is praying for the rain, stop it right now.
Well, it's either rain or scalding hot, so take a pick.
I don't like those choices. All right then. Well, shall we pray? For real this time. Let us relax a little bit and relax our mind and our body and begin to center in. This is the time in our program where we've seen our friends, we've sung, we've greeted one another, we've heard beautiful music sung to us and played. And now we move into what's typically called the worship service part. The prayer, the message, the meditation. So let's just take a breath. Unity co-founder Merle Fillmore once wrote, "Be still, be still, be still, for God in the midst of you is substance. God in the midst of you is love. God in the midst of you is wisdom. Such a wonderful spiritual truth in that message, accentuating that we can never be separate from God. And it feels so good. For we know that when we attune our mind with source, with divine mind, that we can take, through divine ideas, take that substance, that love, that wisdom, and all the other powers, and bring it into form, bring substance into form through ideas, projects, or physical objects. And that's such good news. Today, as we gather together on this spring day, we are so grateful that we are coming together and can come together online and here in the sanctuary. Where two or more are gathered, there is so much energy, radiant energy. And we support one another and we love one another. And it feels so good. We are also grateful for all the possibilities and potentialities that can come to us in our life. And most of all, we are grateful for our ever-expanding consciousness. And so it is. Amen. Today, I wanted to start with a personal story, and that's because it had meaning for me. I learned a spiritual lesson recently that I wanted to share. Some of you know, and some of you do not, that I stepped away November 1 for 5 months, actually, and didn't come back until the Sunday after Easter. I didn't get to really say goodbye. John Marie knew I was going to step away. The reason I did was because I decided to put my house on the market, that I absolutely had to. It was kind of falling down around me. I lived there 35 years in a 1962 home, and think big ticket items like the foundation all the way around and on and on and on. And I could never seem to get that money enough together for all those big ticket items. So I finally, after a couple of years, of course I prayed about it. I tried to figure it out in my mind, you know, what to do. And I finally made a decision. I said, I'm selling my house and I'm going to rent a condo. No more home ownership for me. Be careful what you say. And I told a family member, and she called me a couple of days later and said, what if I could help you get your house back up to snuff? All the structural stuff, we'll start with the foundation, we'll be major tree trimming, we'll do windows, floors, painting, everything that you need in order to be happy there. Will you stay? And the reason is she knew how much I wanted to leave that house to my son. You know, it's all of our biggest asset, more or less. And I always wanted to leave that for my son Daniel if something happens to me, which it happens to all of us. And so I said, okay. So we switched gears and we've done the foundation now, we've done the major landscaping, and we've done quite a few other things, but it's a lengthy process. But what I learned, the spiritual lesson for me was, it wasn't until I made that decision that I stepped out, that decision to sell, that I stepped out and, like the Quakers say, put feet to my prayers. Put feet to my prayers, that possibility that I would have never, ever, ever dreamt of, the family member that stepped up, wouldn't even have been wasn't on my radar, wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have ever asked anything. But now I call that a courageous step. And it's our fifth principle, for goodness sakes. And remember, it says you can know these spiritual truths, but you must take action. So when we make that decision and step forward, all kinds of possibilities can open up for you as well. Well, today I wanted to talk about paying attention and even creating moments of awe in our daily lives. The more I live, I don't know about you, but I think that paying attention seems to be the key to life. And every once in a while, we need to, step back and say, what is it we're paying attention to, however? There's paying attention because we can pay attention to a lot of things that we label as horrible going on in the world. We can pay attention to worry. We can pay attention to insults and criticisms. But the good thing about unity is we actually get to decide where we put our attention. You say, sure, some things come to us and we have to deal with it. But then we're able to step back and we know that there is a higher point of view. What's important about paying attention is paying attention, of course, of what's going on with us, but also paying attention to others and paying attention to our wonderful environment. Often, in spiritual talk, we call this awareness, being aware of your own thoughts that turn into your words, that turn into your actions, but also not being so self-absorbed that we're not paying attention to others. I may have mentioned this in the previous talk before, but there are some very enlightening ideas from Charles Fillmore and Emily Cady. Emily Cady wrote the book Lessons in Truth, and that was the first book that the Fillmores ever published in Unity. Cady describes spiritual gifts differently than we might typically think of them today. In today's definition and in today's vernacular, we think of spiritual gifts as being talents, and that we've all been given unique and different talents. But if we look at the word gift, it can mean talent, but it can also mean a present. A gift, a present. And Cady and Fillmore saw spiritual gifts as a free present from God. But it gets better. Not only that, they believed that we were all given the same gifts, and they are not unique. And you go, well, how can that be? You don't want me in the choir, I know that, but they say that the differences are in the results, in the expression, in the manifestation. And in fact, that it is only in the manifestation of them do they become unique. In other words, the ones you pay attention to that develop. The ones you pay attention to are the ones that develop. There's actually a more poetic way to illustrate this, and that's an Ojibwe story, and you may have heard it. A healer was talking to a young person who was seeking guidance, and the healer said, within every person there are two wolves fighting. One is fear, and one is love. And the young person said, well, which one wins? And the healer says, the one you feed. The one you feed. So it's always good to step back and ask yourself, what are you feeding? Are you feeding fear more than love? How much of the time? Fear or love? I think it was Wayne Dyer that said, anything that's fear is not love, and anything that's love is not fear. But also, the Bible has quite a bit to say about fear. There's a lot of fear in it, as we know, especially in the Hebrew Bible. But also, you hear fear not a lot. But I really liked these two verses that make a lot of sense for this talk. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. From 2 Timothy 1:7. And from 1 John 4:18, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. So if we pay more attention to love rather than fear, It can help us see or even look for the good in situations, looking for the good despite outer circumstances. Take, for example, did you hear the one about the woman who was traveling and got her keys locked in her car? And she was kind of on a remote highway, and so she prayed that somebody would come by and help her. Eventually, a man stopped and asked if he could help, and she said, yes, of course. So he was able to get her door open and fetch her keys, and she said, God, thank you for sending me this wonderful man. And he said, well, I might not be quite that wonderful. In fact, I used to be a car thief. And she said, thank you, God, you even sent me a professional. Oh, dear. Well, let us turn now to an emotion that can help us feel and be more love, and that is awe. You know, the study of awe is a relatively new subject for psychologists. They've studied lots of emotions, anger and sadness and shame and joy and love and desire and laughter and many, many. But now, in the last 15 years or so, there's been quite a bit of research on awe. And there is this new book, Awe, the New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life by Dr. Dacher Keltner. So I got this book from the library and started reading it, and that's how I, decided to give a talk about awe. And by the way, there are quite a few books out there. All of a sudden, it's really popular. They're scientific studies, but they're also popular articles as well. Let's see, where am I? Oh, well, Keltner is a psychologist at UC Berkeley and is the director of the Greater Good Science Center. Don't you love that? The Greater Good Science Center. And as you know, when anyone is studying anything, the first thing they have to do is come up with a definition. So their definition, Keltner and his colleagues, the feeling of being in the presence of something vast that transcends our understanding of the world. Because, often when we think about awe, we think that emotion is reserved to large monumental things. Maybe the birth of a child, seeing the northern lights, having a mystical or spiritual experience, the solar eclipse that we had not long ago. But the author claims that we can find awe anywhere if we take the time to wonder. So the study that Keltner and his colleagues conducted gathered data from 26 countries about people's experiences with awe. And they were very careful to get all kinds of people in terms of, wealth and gender and religion and cultures, etc. And so using the definition that's still up there, the research question was, what is the experience of awe you have had, what is the experience of awe you have had when you encountered a vast mystery that transcends your understanding of the world? And the people wrote their stories. They wrote about their experiences. After the data was collected, they realized that they could put these responses, which were thousands, into 8 categories. And here they are, the 8, and they call them the 8 wonders in life. Now, I have to tell you that I was surprised, and I think the researchers were too, that nature wasn't number one. It seems like it would be in some ways. But remember, this data is from what people said they were experiencing, so they classified it that way. The first one was other people's courage, kindness, strength, or overcoming. It's amazing, isn't it? And it could be in the battlefield, or it could just be everyday kindnesses, or reading about someone, or learning how much they have overcome. The second one is collective effervescence. You try to say it. Collective effervescence. It's a great word. They took this term actually from a Swiss sociologist, Emil Durkheim. he did his research in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. He came up with that term. But it's neat, collective effervescence. And of course, it it's about, It refers to gatherings of people, that's the collective part, at occasions where they're all engaged in a shared oneness. And it could be a wedding. It could even be a sports celebration, It could be where people are gathered and they're all on that same wavelength. I remember mine one of the first ones I ever had with that experience was actually at a political rally. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about politics. You couldn't pay me enough to talk about politics. But this was in Los Angeles in 1972, and I decided to campaign for a presidential, when I was living in LA. So to campaign for a presidential candidate. And this first time and last time I ever canvassed, Gosh, I hadn't even been in LA that long, and they gave me a neighborhood, and I would go out after work and knock on people's door and talk to them and give them, I was about 23 years old or something, so I was brave. And then we all came together, and everyone else in Los Angeles, to this great big square where the candidate was going to land in a helicopter. And, of course, the governor was there, the mayor of Los Angeles, a couple of movie stars, and the candidate finally landed and came out. But he said, I'm not going to give my stump speech, because that was the day that the Israeli athletes were murdered at the Olympics in Munich. Some of you remember that. Some of you may have seen the Steven Spielberg film, Munich. But anyway, I don't even remember what he said now. But he just was amazing. I mean, number one, not to have that crowd and not give your stump speech, but also he just talked about, the sadness, and out of respect, he said, I will not give a political speech. I will simply talk. And I remember I was so touched, and I looked around this gigantic audience, and everyone else, too, was just enthralled, and tears were coming down, and everyone was having a collective effervescence. The third one is nature. Yay! And that can be anything you define, night skies, sand dunes, forest, mountains, the ocean. I remember the first time I saw the ocean. Next is music, and that could be a concert. It could be listening by yourself. It could be singing with others, chanting. But specifically, people described music as an avenue to The fifth one is visual design, and this is, architecture or painting or something. I was talking to my friend who's an artist, and I said I was going to give a talk on awe, and she said, do you know about the Stendhal effect syndrome? And I said, no, I don't. And then she sent me a little article. You don't want to do this, but Stendhal syndrome, I'm picking all the hard words to say today, is a psychosomatic condition that can cause rapid heart rate, confusion, even fainting, when becoming transfixed in front of a painting. And so apparently museum people are kind of hip to this, because some people can completely become transfixed. But in any case, don't do that. But anyway, art is a big other thing that people have awe. 6, spiritual and religious encounters. I know that I probably don't have to talk about those too much. You may have had, I feel sure you probably have had those incredible experiences where, it happens a lot. It can happen at rituals, we're doing something collective, but specifically spiritual, that you feel at one with everything and everyone. Number 7 is life and death. Of course, the birth of a newborn. Nothing sweeter, nothing more awe-inspiring, probably, in that category. But also death. Many death experiences can be quite awesome too. I'll just leave it at that. And the last one is epiphanies, when suddenly you realize something that you hadn't realized before that kind of changes your essential truth about life. You know, it could be something you've been working on, or it could just be, you know, you finally get that scientific thing or whatever it is, but it's an epiphany that, that comes quickly and is about understanding truth. So those are many of the ways that awe can transform us, and they do transform us mainly because, and I know this will make sense for you, because we get outside of ourselves. And the ego is tamped down. We open up our minds and hearts to amazement and newness. Some research shows that people even feel more inclined to collaborate. I can see that. In LA, I felt like I could collaborate with every person there, you know. And physically as well, there are many things, but some of the major ones are that awe calms down our nervous system. And according to scientist Van Elk, awe decreases the activity in the brain circuitry associated with rumination and self-focus. You know, that ruminating, you keep thinking of something over and over and over, and you ruminate about it, and self-focus. Well, how can we bring more awe into our lives then? The first point is be intentional. And it's just that major idea again, that awe is all around us, and we can find it in our ordinary lives. Scientist Judith Moskowitz, she's a professor at Northwest University, and she works with how positive emotions can help people with stress. And she encourages intentional awe experiences. And she speaks about collective movements, you know, dancing, and again, rituals and ceremonies, that sort of thing, and of course, walks in nature. And Dr. David Fessel from the Center for Positive Organizations, isn't that great? At the University of Michigan, another wonderful title for a center. He advises that on your awe walk, and even if it's just in your neighborhood, you ask this question, and this is a great question, I think. What is beautiful here? What is beautiful here? We can step outside and take a walk, and we can find what's not beautiful, most likely, you know. And you know, science is, I'm beginning to believe some science that says that we actually have a negativity bias because of our evolution, you know, because we were in fear a lot and, you know, trying to find food and hide and all of that stuff that's we could, I'll just say we could, have a negativity bias in the beginning. But, so we're not asking what's wrong, we're asking what is beautiful here. And he says, take it in with all your senses and savor it and let it lift your spirits. The second one is pay attention to others and discover the goodness in others. Most of you probably are familiar with Sharon Salzberg, the Buddhist who does so many meditations. You may have done her loving kindness meditation for sure. She's all over. And she's going to publish a new book, and one of the chapters is going to be on awe, I read. But she says pay attention to your neighbors and even the clerks in the stores that you frequent. Look for those moments of kindness. I go to the same grocery store I have gone for 35 years because it's 5 blocks from my house. So over the years, a lot of the staff has turned over. But I make it a point to get to know the staff, the cashiers, the stockers, the people who bag the groceries. And what's really happened at this grocery store, maybe unintended consequences, but they have totally remodeled it. I mean, totally, nothing is where it was before. So now we're all going around in our shopping carts, you know. But what it has actually caused is this wonderful interaction. I'll go, we'll say, I don't know where I'm going. I don't either, And then, do you know where the bread is? Oh, yeah, I think it's over there. Do you know where the soup is, And people are talking and that sort of thing. And there's a lot of kindness there because the conversation always seems to end with either, well, at least we're getting a lot of exercise, or something like, well, this too we shall learn. So I haven't had a single person, be complaining and curmudgeonly and that sort of thing. So I thought that was funny. And then the other thing that I paid attention to was the oldest person who ever graduated from UNT walked across the stage a couple of weeks ago and got her degree, and she was 91. Just like Max. So, you can pay attention to people even if you don't know them. You can read about inspiring people. You can watch a documentary perhaps, and something like that can generate those feelings of awe. The third, mindfulness. You're going to love this. Some studies show that those who meditate and pray experience more awe. It makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense because we're not distracted. We're focused, right? I would say that that's the most logical answer. And the last one is shake up your routine. Try something new. Try something new. Go away you don't normally go, or do something you don't normally do. Even go into a different kind of restaurant, or listen or watch something outside your habitual fare. Open up your mind to new experiences then. So before we go into meditation, there are two final things that I would like to share. This is from Catherine May, who wrote a bestseller called Wintering, but this is her new book too, Enchantment, Awakening Wonder in an Anxious Age. It's a great title. But she says the awe-inspiring, the numinous, which by the way means having a spiritual or religious quality, is all around us all the time. It is transformed by our deliberate attention. It becomes valuable when we value it, and it becomes meaningful when we invest it with meaning. And finally, a tiny little poem from Father Richard Rohr. You may get his emails. He's pretty wonderful. Yes, we do have roles and tasks in this world, but finally they are all the same: to be uniquely divine love in a way that no one else can or will. So as we endeavor to pay more attention to our thoughts and words and actions, more attention to others, and more attention to our wonderful environment, let us discover more good, more awe, and more peace. Shall we prepare for meditation? Well, let us get in a comfortable position. Uncross your legs and your feet. Put them on the floor if you can. Let's take a few deep breaths. And then just breathe naturally. Let us begin to focus on spirit within, our ever-present source of peace, wisdom, strength, and abundance. Let us open our hearts and minds and drop all cares for right now. Just trusting in God's infinite goodness. For God love is around us, moving through us and as us. Our mind and body are relaxed and attuned to love. As we breathe in, let us breathe in that flowing love. As we breathe out, let go of worries. Right here, right now, there is only divine love. Divine love vibrates with every human heart and mind as the one true light. And in the warmth of this illumination, we think only thoughts of love as we experience this enduring presence. We are inspired to be divine understanding because we too want to be understood. To express caring because we too want to be cared for. To be gentle because we too want to be treated gently. Safe in the refuge of love, we release any thoughts that suggest that we are separate from God. We are safe, secure, calm, and serene. We claim our power of divine understanding and are grateful for all insights. We are also one with divine wisdom, which guides us to our good. We embrace guidance for all aspects of our lives. In oneness with God, we are courageous and confident. The perfect path is revealed to us with every step we take. Radiant healing energy flows through us now, strengthening our spirit and calming our souls. We are whole, well, and healthy. And we are grateful for our health and the inspiration to create the world as one of wonder, joy, and awe. Let us see beauty, grace, order, and harmony wherever we look. Knowing that we are divine and here to express love and kindness, we return to this place. You can begin to move around a little bit and just feel free to open your eyes whenever you want to.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
For this message today. Please join me in thanking her for being with us and sharing her wonderful insights. Many of you already contribute regularly to our community, and we are so grateful for your continued support of our mission. If you would like to contribute right now, you can leave your tithe or love offering in the basket coming around, or click the link to contribute online. If you would like to be a sustaining member, we would love for you to consider setting up recurring giving to support our community. In whatever way you choose to share your gifts, we are so grateful as we bless our love offerings together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
Gather round me, everybody. Gather round me while I preach song. Feel a sermon
It's been such a gift having you with us today. Join us for fellowship after the service. We have a prayer chaplain here today. Judy Kingman will be up front for prayers. And just a couple of announcement reminders. Be sure to register with YFM to receive our virtual adventures newsletters over the summer. Our donation drive for a Tarrant Area Food Bank runs through June. Please consider helping us reach our goal of $500 or exceeding. Our breakfast club starts next Sunday at 11 a.m. at Luby's. That's in Fort Worth. It's on the south side, just 6 miles from here. Enjoy food and fellowship before the service. Until we see each other again, stay safe, be well, and have a wonderful week. Please rise to sing our peace song, followed by the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and I am.